What was it? What you ruin about? Howdy, y'all. Between the Horns. Aaron Horn. Between the Horns. Between the Horns with Aaron Horn. What is between the horns? What is between the horns? Well, what is it? Between the horns is me coming on here onto these Googles and talking in front of these horns. That's why they're in front of my truck. It's to represent. This represents between the horns. I got caught. I got imprisoned in my between the horns. I got imprisoned between the horns. For a lot of years, I lived up here and I suffered. And I suffered. And it got bad. Not knowing what I didn't know, I was imprisoned inside of my head. What is between the horns? I'm telling you. It's me getting out here and talking about things that are labeled hard things in life. The hard things of life. Okay, I spent 40-some, quite a few years of my life trapped here, depressed, imprisoned, and I didn't even know that I held the key from within. Boy, my mind just goes, you know, if I can even keep track of this one and get it into a video and where I can even put it out there on the Googles. Because this is a big piece of my life. I was imprisoned here. So I come on, I make these videos. It's about the things that people want to say are the hard things. And they are. They're the hard things. But I come out here and talk about it because that's what brings me out from between the horns. Talk about suicide a lot. That's big to me. It's right there. I drive around in my vehicle on a daily. I don't drive daily. There's days I stay home. But even then at home, I have a part that's a suicide part. Part of me that when I started to learn about myself and what made me pump, what made me work, well, how I was wired, I started to realize that from the time that I was 8 years old, suicide was the way out for me. I knew it. I always wondered what my headstone would say, how they would word it. How I got there, I've got a couple ideas. I heard a lot of hard stuff growing up. I heard a lot of stuff, not just from my parents, but I had family members in law enforcement that would talk about grotesque. I mean, I remember as a very small child, I have very few memories prior to this. I have some, so I'm saying 3-ish, 4-ish, whatever, hearing about a suicide where a guy blew his head and his brains and everything were on the back of the wall. And I can remember that thought going through my head at 4 and 5. And by 6, life blew up for me. Something happened in my story that went boom, and everything changed for me. My experience changed in life. There's some markers to that now. Grades in school, behavior, some things that I started that other people don't even know that I started thinking about. Having thoughts in hindsight, looking back, were immature thoughts. I was way too young to be having to think through those thoughts. Life, you could say at 6, got difficult, got hard. It changed in a bad way for me. And by 8, I stuck a gun, a 38, Saturday Night Special. My dad had a little wood handle. I called them Saturday Night Specials. They were just little 38 specials. And woo! Saturday Night Special. My dad had that in his drawer. And I went in there and I emptied all the bullets out. And I shut the cylinder up, cocked it back, and pulled the trigger a few times. And then I put it in my mouth and I pulled the hammer back and I ate it like I'm 8 years old. Like this. With no bullets in it. I knew no bullets were in it. But I didn't know if I could pull the trigger even then. Like, even knowing there was no bullets in it, I didn't know if I could pull the trigger. I certainly, at that point, didn't know what the finality of what I was dealing with at 8. And that started down the road. I would put the bullets, I would take them out. I'd get to where I could pull the trigger with it in my mouth. And eventually I got to where I would put the bullets in and I would put it in my mouth uncocked. I'd eat it and I'd just sit there like that. Eventually I got to where I'd pull the hammer back with it loaded, put it in my mouth, but I wouldn't put my finger on the trigger. So this whole time I was just, but again, at 8, I didn't understand the finality of that. But I understood something in life about hard and how it was really hard. And that was just step after step of my life with this part of me that was suicide. Now, she showed up last year in Ohio, and I say she. I don't know how it became a feminine part, but it's there. She showed up. Now, prior to going to Utah to do the work I did last year in July 11th, July 15th, I think, is when I left here. Prior, I was suicidal, very suicidal. I'd go to the mountains with the dogs. The only thing that got me back down the mountain up in Smoky Boulder, up above Price Valley, up in the Smoky Boulder drainage up in there, and I came home. I think I've shared this, I'm not sure. Talked to my friend Scooter that night. Didn't tell him, I don't believe I told him much about it that night. Some wheels started turning. I was trying to get into some kind of help because I knew I wasn't in a good place. But that started the ball rolling that night, and within just a matter of a few days, it was a Friday, I was in my brother-in-law's pickup heading down to Twin Falls, 4 hours from here, 4.5 hours, whatever it is, to then go on down to Utah to the treatment facility I went to for suicide ideations. And I needed help with they call my PTSD, the way I'm reacting to trauma in my things that have happened in my life. So I was suicidal. I leave, I go to Utah, I start learning about myself in a different way, parts about myself. And this suicide part shows up. And I keep going like this because she's always right here. Right here. Whether we're sitting in the car, whether we're at home, whatever. She's always right there. Sometimes, quiet as a bug, you don't hear from her. She's pleasant. And I know I'm adding some emphasis on, she isn't physical, I understand that. If anybody's, it's crazy, I even feel like I have to pause for that, but here we are. I paused for that because somebody will say something about that, I'm certain of it. I come back with this suicide part. Did a lot of work with her down there, had a lot of conversations with her. And what I found about that is she wasn't a bad piece of me. I know this is a little long-winded. It's a hard story to tell. I'm okay with the long-winded part because I know you have this button on there you can push if you don't want to hear anymore, and it just goes away, okay? If this isn't for you. I'm just going to ramble for a second because I'm telling a really hard story and I have to ramble sometimes to get through these. They're hard. Anybody that's ever experienced some of what I'm saying here, you know that hard piece. It's a hard part of life. I'm coming back from the dead, y'all. I got really fucking close. I'm really strongly considering, and this will be a whole nother video for another time, but I'm really strongly considering having a memorial service. Not a memorial service, a celebration of life for myself. I read about a guy did it years ago. I feel very similar to him. He decided he wanted, why do you celebrate somebody? He wanted to change the world one ripple at a time. And he thought, well, celebrate people while they're alive. I'll be the example. And so he sets up his funeral and he buys ads in papers, and people from long ways away find out about it, and word of mouth. He plans it for however many months ahead or whatever, and gives a date. And it ends up just people come from everywhere to this guy's celebration, whatever he called it. And I thought, that's something I can do. I've lost enough friends to this thing called suicide that maybe I could make a ripple. Maybe I could make a ripple. Maybe because I feel like I mostly lost my life last year prior to going to Utah. I got really close. The only thought that I had to come back and not go through with what I had planned was my dogs in the car. And I had made a promise. I mean, I made a lot of promises to both of them, but I had made one promise to Buster. Now, this wasn't when I was being in a very logical, very stable mind. I was in a bad place. I was outside my truck screaming at God. I'd been planning for this for a lot of years. I'd been rehearsing for this moment. But in that moment, I remembered a promise I'd made Buster, because Buster seemed to not have a very stable situation early on in his life before I got him. And when I got him and I heard just little pieces of his story, I said to him, you'll never have to look for another home again. And I realized in that moment, not only would they have to look for another home, or they would have to be rehomed, it brought me back enough. Didn't have cell service. I hadn't eaten in a long time. I didn't have any food with me. I wasn't in my right mind. And I drove back from Smoky Boulder back down to Council. And I got the help I needed. I'm here. Sometimes I wonder if I did something so bold as to plan a celebration of life for myself, and I don't care if one person comes. I'll video it, and maybe in 100 years, another person will watch that video, and they'll push that ripple one more time. Maybe that ripple won't pick up. That ripple of change won't pick up speed with me. Maybe I'm just to pass the message on. But I notice in life we don't celebrate people while they're here very often. Very right. We don't, let's just say I didn't feel celebrated in that moment. I'm certainly aware that we're not to always feel celebrated. I'm certainly aware of that, but we celebrate people after they're dead, and so many times I find that what other people are saying, celebrating about that person, I didn't know too much about that person. Sometimes it's dead on the head, but it's like, I wonder a lot of times when I hear people get up and talk at funerals, like, are they talking out of their ass, or are they because they want to pretend like, because sometimes it sounds like they're just, and maybe you know a little bit about it enough to know that that person never really had a relationship with the person. They're just an angry son, or and so they get up and, I don't know. I've heard a lot. We all have. When you go to funerals, you hear people get up and they say the sweetest things about people. And if they're going to say something rude, they will say like, well, he could be a real jackass, and everybody in there, oh, ha, 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 ha. But back here in the back of my mind, I'm going, yeah, he was known for beating people up. He was known for being a jerk to people. He was known for being very disrespectful to others. It's not a joke, ha 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 ha. He was a jackass. And you can say that that's only my perspective. Just when you have enough, well, the proof is in the pudding. Whatever. If you haven't figured out in life, there's jerks, people who are jerks. I was a jerk. I can still be a jerk. I work really hard not to be a jerk, really hard to not be a jerk, and to be kind, and to show compassion to people, and to show patience and long suffering with people, knowing that life, it's taking me a long time to come back from the fucking dead. That teaches you a lot of patience. I'm not springing back like I wanted to. I'm a year and some months now into my recovery, you could say, coming back from the dead. This is the hard stuff. This is hard. Suicide, like I've said, suicide rides beside me. We have conversations. I've learned to be really quiet. If she's talking, if constantly in my mind, if all I can think about is suicide, it's the answer. I've been thinking this now for 43 years. No. Yeah, 43 years. Suicide has been a part of me and been my constant go-to. And I know that's not right. I don't need a lecture in this moment for myself or anybody else about that that's the answer. I know it's not the answer. Knowing and knowing, two different things. I can say it, I can know it, I can say I know it, but do I really know it? So suicide comes up still. When I came home from Utah, suicide didn't go away. In fact, I welcomed her. What do you have to say to me? Because when she gets really loud and annoying, I need help. I need to reach out. I need to get a lifeline. I need to get out from between the horns. Now she's my friend. She's my indicator. She tells me. If she's over there being quiet and she's content and she's there, I know she is. I didn't come home from Utah, my relationship with her has changed, see. That's the difference. The bad parts of my life, there are no bad parts. The bad parts of my life, I don't have to push them away anymore. She never wanted me dead. I'd get into that. I had to realize that at one moment. She just wanted me to get help. She's actually a very tender spirit. I'm not saying I believe in a spirit being here or anything like that. It's something. It's an energy that I don't know why it's on the right side. I don't know why it's feminine. My mind asks those questions, but she's never offered up any explanation. That's Council Mountain, y'all. It's beautiful. Here in just, I don't know, won't be long now. There'll be some snow up there. Yeah, this is the hard stuff. This is hard stuff to talk about. But I come out here, I talk about between the horns, but I've never really explained what this means. When I say between the horns, this is me coming out and getting better. I'm talking it out. You guys don't have to listen. This is a journal for me. I have thousands of videos that people will never see. Well, who will see them? Who knows? Not stuff I'm going to particularly post. Of me talking out life. Me processing life. I process right here. I learned that. I don't process in a dark, deep spot. I process at my lips. I say it, I listen. I constantly listening to what I'm saying. If it's not making sense, you'll see me back out of it and try it somehow else. It's how my mind rolls. So I come out here and I talk. I get it out. Ideally, I would have a group. A trauma group. A fellow travelers processing trauma. I don't even remember what it's called. But processing together, face to face. I don't find people in my life that want to talk about this stuff. This conversation would last a minute or two with the majority of the world because it's too hard. I get it. I'm not pushing anybody. If you're not in that place, you're not in that place. This isn't me saying every person I come in contact with should sit down and listen to every part of my story. I wouldn't want to tell it that way. It's not how it works. But I came back to Idaho from Utah. I don't have a group around me that so far I've found. I haven't found my group yet. I live in a somewhat remote area. Within 50 miles of me, there's a few groups. But I'm not able at this point to commit to something up over the mountain that way or down, because winter's coming and I'm not able to get out and drive as much in the wintertime as I'd like. Let's just put it that way. Haven't found my group yet. Tried to. I do have a Sunday night processing group that I go to with. It's on Zoom. They facilitated out of the Deer Hollow that I went to in Utah. But I come out here and I talk about the hard stuff. I talk about the things that help me to talk about it, because then not only am I listening to what I'm saying and questioning it, but then I'll watch this video and I'll be able then to glean and say, you know what, Aaron? I mean, a lot of my videos don't make it off the first viewing because I watch them and I go, you know what, you're off on that, Aaron. That's an old thought process. And I get curious about, why am I stuck right there in this moment? So that's what these videos do for me. I just post some of them because I'm able to get a whole thought process out. A lot of videos, I'll be about here and I'll be like, I've been on here for quite a while and I'm just rambling now. Yeah, that's great. And I'll come up and I'll hit the button. Start it completely over. This is Aaron Between the Horns, and then I'll get on later and delete 15 videos that I tried to start. Because I want to get it out. And each one of those videos helps me, because then I go, that's not right. Or you're heading down this loop, or you're out here, Aaron. And so I'm able to hone it in. And so these videos Between the Horns is me no longer being imprisoned in here, allowing it to be a constant. Well, I get caught up here sometimes. That's what this trip is today, is I was caught up here. So I come out here by myself, me and the dogs. Blitz is over here laying down in the dirt. Who knows what Buster's doing? He's over down there. I got a bottle of water. And this beautiful view. And it's quiet. And there aren't people out here being angry. There aren't people out here hating on each other. There aren't people here who are caught in here and don't realize it. You wonder why I want to be alone all the time? That's why. It's because when somebody's caught in here, it's really hard to be around them. It's really hard to have a conversation. The first thing they want to talk about is some their neighbor did to them 5 years ago, and now the neighbor moved the fence, and they're going to take them to court. And you know, I'm like, there's a time and a place. Do your thing. Just don't roll down here with that kind of drama. Deal with it. I'll work on my house, you work on yours. If you got lawsuit or you got people you're pissed off at your house, do it. I deal with my stuff at my house. Okay? But I don't make a big scene about it. I don't give a shit. I'll deal with it. Period. The old me stuck in my head would have, boy, I'd have tried to help him hire an attorney, and I'd have posted it on Facebook for him and shared it around the world. And because by God, you know, we got to make it right. That didn't get me very far. I'm not here to make the world right. I'm here to make a small ripple in the pool of life. You could argue the cesspool of life. I say it's heaven. You just have to choose. You got to get out of the murky water and get into the good water. Right here. Purified drinking water. Now, this isn't a pitch for water. This is a pitch to say I quit being bitter. I quit just letting bitterness drive me. And I realized that life is not what the rat race, what the agenda, what the propaganda machine, what do they call it? The left and the right. I guess that's about the best. I hate that. I'm neither one, so I'm heading up. So whatever party that is, I'm a part of it. And I'm quite frankly, nobody gives a shit in this party going up. At least I haven't met very many of them yet. The real ones, they're going up. I'm rambling, you're right, but I haven't met many people that are going up that concentrate on the drama of life. They've learned to not only recognize that that's part of life, but they've recognized how not to be a part of it anymore. How they've detached from the drama of life. That's the part that singles a lot of them out. The ones that are going up, not left or right or down. Singles them out when they've come to the place where they realize that, where they've learned to detach from the drama, change the subject. Somebody comes up to you and they say, "Oh, my brother, yeah, he's a real jerk. He did, or did you hear about what the city council did last week?" And I'm like, I'll listen. I'll let him get it out for a while, and then at some point I'll say, "Hey, how's that hot rod going?" And have something that I know about him that, if it's a garden or if that's something another friend of mine taught me is, how's your garden? What are you growing in your garden? Start talking about something in their life, and that people have you either learn how to not get involved in that. I don't even set it with it anymore, by God. If I'm sitting somewhere with a group of people and they start that drama, I don't say, "Hey, you bunch of idiots, I'm not going to listen to this," and I don't make a scene. I'm like, I'm going to go outside and have a cigarette. I have 10. So I don't have to listen to it because I don't want to be a part of it. It's not necessary for me to function in life to sit and listen to. You say, "Well, you don't care about what people." No. There's a whole way to come and talk to somebody about life and about the hard parts of life, to say, "Hey, I'm having a hard time with my brother," or, "Hey, my neighbor's really causing me issue." And you let them get it off their chest and have a conversation about it where you're heading up. You've recognized that the drama isn't necessary. It's just the way that we feel good about ourselves is to pipe a lot of fucking drama into our lives. Yes, I've done that too. Yeah, that's what's between the horns, y'all. I'm grateful. I owe my life to learning how to get out of the prison between the horns. Oh, stuff still jumps in there and bounces around, and I still get where I ruminate on it for a while. But now when I recognize it, when I'm aware of it, all right, Aaron, something's gonna have to give here soon. Come and sit with my stuff, and to come out here and to be one with, I mean, you can see. I mean, I know some people don't like being alone. I love being alone. I mean, of course, my dogs are here, so I'm not alone. But I'm talking about other two-legged. Come here. Blitz. And Buster. This is Buster. Blitz. That's what's between the horns, y'all. Now you know why I do this. If you don't, watch the video again. It's a long one. Be patient with me. I can be long-winded. I love you. Be kind. Between the horns, Aaron Horn, Blitz and Buster from Johnson Creek. We're out. Blessings till we meet again.